AITAH for refusing to give my ex full access to my life just because we co-parent. I, 25F, have a 6-month-old baby with my ex, 24M, and we've been trying to co-parent since we split a few months ago, but now he's saying I'm being an a-hole for not telling him everything I do when the baby isn't even with me. We were together from high school, 2015, up until recently. Our breakup happened shortly after I gave birth, when I found out he had been cheating with multiple women. His excuse? That I wasn't being sexual enough postpartum and he had a high libido. Yeah. That was enough for me to walk away. Since then, I've been rebuilding my life. I got more involved in my church, formed new friendships, and started feeling like myself again for the first time in a while. I've also done everything I can to keep things calm and respectful for the sake of our baby. But now, he's making it an issue that I don't share details about my personal life with him. He says I should be more transparent and that it's important for co-parenting. He wants to know who I'm hanging out with, what I'm doing, who my new friends are, even if I'm just out while he has the baby. His reasoning? He tells me about what he's doing, so I should do the same. But here's the thing, I've never asked him for any of that information. He voluntarily tells me, I'm about to hang out with this girl, or I've been seeing someone new even when our child is not in his care at the time. It's his personal time, and I've told him I don't need or want those updates. Yet now he's acting like because he shares that info with me, I owe him the same level of openness, even though I've never requested it and it's unrelated to our child. He's also been following some of my new friends on social media and asking me questions about them. My account is private, so I don't know how he's even finding them. I suspect he's using a burner account or he's viewing my church's page who posts pictures of me and the people I hang out with at times. I had to ask them to stop posting me. We have a photography team that takes pictures during service or after service and post them online for media purposes, for a while because I believe he was using those posts to find my friends and follow them. He's never reached out to any of them, but the whole thing feels really creepy and invasive. It's crossing a boundary for me. I've talked to some friends about this, and their opinions are mixed. Some say he has a point that we should be transparent with each other since we share a child. Others think he's overstepping and that this isn't part of normal co-parenting, especially since our child hasn't met any of these people and I'm not dating anyone right now. Even my mom is siding with him. She's liked him since we were together in high school, and any time we argued, she tended to take his side and ask what I did wrong. Now she's saying I should be open about who I'm hanging out with, to better co-parent. That makes me question myself even more. I'm not trying to be an asshole or difficult. I believe in healthy boundaries. If someone's going to be around my child, I'll share that. But just living my life and seeing friends when my baby isn't with me? I don't think I owe him a play-by-play. So, comment 1. NTA. You are required to talk with him about your child and your child only. If he really feels this strongly about it, tell him to take you in front of a judge. Please record that hearing and post it so we can all laugh. Comment 2. NTA. He's being weird AF. It's none of his business what you are doing, especially when you don't have your child. He's just trying to keep tabs on you and probably to see if you're dating someone new. You need to use a parenting app to keep receipts of his behavior. Your mom's an AITA for sure. I'd put her on an information diet. I imagine whenever you start to date again, he will be even worse. Good luck. Comment 3. NTA. He's trying to force access to your life and control you. He doesn't get to do either. If he wants to tell you about the personal things in his life that have zero impact on your child and your co-parenting, that's his choice. You don't have to reciprocate. When you're out and about with you're doing your thing when he has your child, what you're doing, where you're doing it, and with whom you're doing it is none of his damn business, and he needs to get used to it. Short story 2, AITA asked the neighbor to move their little farm stand because people are stealing from my garden. My neighbor set up one of those pantries/farm stands where people can take items that they grew in their garden, pantry stuff, donated stuff, etc. In theory, it's a great idea, and especially in a time when life in America sucks ass and people are struggling to make ends meet, my family included. The problem: people started coming into my yard to pick things in my garden. I've put up signs saying not to do it, I installed rabbit fence around the garden, I've angled a tarp so you can't see what's there from the road. People just hold their kids over the fence to pick tomatoes and beans or jump it. I ended up getting into an argument with a lady over it. I yelled, "Hey, stop. Those are not for you to take." She told her kid to move faster and then tried to run away. I caught up to her and asked her what the duck her problem was, and she turned it into "how dare I swear in front of her child, why am I so angry, am I really that upset about a couple tomatoes?" I said, "I am upset that you are stealing from me." The next day, I approached my neighbor. I asked if I could maybe help move it to the other side of their driveway so it's next to the other neighbor's house. They don't have a garden out front. They said at least not until the end of the season. I asked if they could make larger signs, talk to people, just do something. They were like, "Can you really not afford to share?" I said that they aren't taking my zucchini because they're starving, they're taking my tomatoes because they want them. They said that I'm going to have to learn to live with it for now, and we can talk about a solution together that will benefit the whole community after. I said I do not care about a solution that benefits the whole community. I care about a solution that stops people from stealing from me. So last night it happened again, man in his 50s. I sprayed his ash with the hose. He started yelling at me, and after a minute or so the neighbor came out yelling at me too. People have posted on the neighborhood board to be careful if they come by because I'm in a hole. The neighbor says I'm scaring people away from a community resource. I told him that I'm going to continue until he does something about the fucking thieves who feel entitled to my garden. I feel like I'm losing my ducking mind here. Am I the a-hole for asking them to move it? Am I the a-hole for being pissed off that people are ducking stealing from me? This is food for my family. Comment 1. NTA. They are literally volunteering your garden as the community veggie resource. That's why it's next to your garden. It is incredibly inappropriate. Comment 2. Take all the food off the stand first thing after it is put out and donate it to a food kitchen. If the stand is empty, people will be less likely to stop and notice your garden. The neighbor may also decide it is a good idea to move the stand away from you. Comment 3. Keep spraying people. Eventually word will get out and nobody will come to your neighbor's stand anymore. Also, post specific signs that say "no trespassing private garden" and call the police if you catch people in your garden. If you can't do the fence right now, maybe you could manage a camera aimed at your garden. I'd also put a "smile you're on camera" sign right next to the "no trespassing" ones. Story 3. AITA for refusing to let my sister-in-law remake my daughter's birthday cake. I, 33F, hosted a small birthday party for my daughter, 6F, at my home. I baked and decorated her cake myself. It wasn't professionally decorated, but my daughter helped me pick out the colors and the design, and she was super stoked about it. My sister-in-law Anna, 30F, is part-time baker who performs small cake business in her home. She smiled upon seeing the cake, but then separated me from everyone else and said, "I can easily do something if you want it to look very nice in photographs." I told her no thank you, my daughter and we were proud of it. Anna kept pushing it, insisting that it would not take long and that she had some things in her car which she keeps with her wherever she goes just in case. I reassured her once again that we were fine, and she let the matter go, but clearly was upset. She barely lingered for the remainder of the party and departed early. My brother messaged me after that evening that I had embarrassed Anna in front of everyone for refusing her generous gesture and that it would have cost nothing to let her help. My husband thinks I was right to stand firm, but my mother-in-law chimed in too that I should just have let her make a nicer cake for the sake of keeping the peace. I did not mean to hurt her, but I also believe she was overstepping boundaries. My daughter liked the cake, and that was something that mattered to me. Comment 1. NTA. But why was your brother okay with his wife hurting your feelings by asking that? I'm sure they weren't hurt because you and your daughter worked on it and were proud, but he doesn't need to know that. Sister-in-law overstepped, and when you gently told her no, she went crying to her husband. Very immature. Comment 2. NTA I am sorry, but I make my kids' cake myself as well. It may not be done professionally, but it is done with motherly love. Her generous offering was actually insulting. Comment 3. NTA and everybody else needs to butt out. You had a very special day baking with your daughter that she's going to remember forever. Don't let anybody take that away from you. You're a great mom. Story 4, AITA for excluding my daughter from a movie night. I 40M and my wife 39F have 3 great kids, 13M, 12F, and 9F. Our youngest daughter doesn't handle horror very well. She can only handle Scooby-Doo, and even that is sometimes too scary for her. But she of course wants to see scary stuff and throws temper tantrums when we say no. Last night my wife and our 2 older kids wanted to watch Alien, and we figured we'd watch it after our youngest daughter was in bed. Since it's summer, we've bumped her bedtime up to 9:30. After my wife and I put our daughter to bed, we went downstairs to start the movie. After the movie had started, our youngest daughter came down and asked what movie we were watching. We asked her why she wasn't in bed, and she said she heard her sister mention that we were gonna watch a movie and asked if she could watch too. We told her no because it was too scary for her, but she kept insisting that she could handle it. I eventually firmly told her no, but she kept insisting that she could handle it. So I picked her up and carried her back to her bed. She screamed and protested the whole time, saying, "No, Daddy, I wanna watch the movie." When I tucked her back in bed, she kept protesting, saying it wasn't fair to have family movie time without her. That's when I said to her, "This is not family movie time, this is a time for people who are big enough for scary movies, and you're too little for scary movies." She said, "No, Daddy, I'm big enough for scary movies," and tried to get out of bed. That's when I raised my voice and firmly told her, "No, you're too little for scary movies, and it is past your bedtime now. If you get out of bed again, you're in trouble." I then tucked her back into bed and kissed her goodnight. Then we all watched the movie as planned. We could hear our daughter screaming and having a tantrum from upstairs for a while, but we ignored it, and it did stop. I thought I handled it fine until today, when my wife came to me very upset with me for how I handled it. She said it would have been better to just let her watch a movie that was appropriate for her with us, and then put her to bed and watch Alien, because then she wouldn't have felt excluded. I disagreed because our daughter knew it was past her bedtime. But my wife still thinks I didn't handle it right. Comment 1. NTA. You were firm. You explained the rules, and you stuck to them. Nothing wrong with that. I disagree with your wife. Why should the family sit through another movie to placate the younger daughter before watching what they wanted to see? Besides, the daughter said she wanted to see Alien, not some non-scary movie. She still would have complained. You taught your daughter that she can't get around the rules by throwing a fit. Comment 2. And they waited until after her bedtime to watch it. Sounds like the 9-year-old needs an explanation of how the world works. There are age-appropriate rules, and they're for a reason. Comment 3. NTA. You waited until she was in bed. Regardless of what you all were doing, she should have been in bed. Allowing her privileges because she throws a tantrum sends the wrong message.